what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another reaction of a Silver Rose song. Also, hi, Silver Rose. I saw that you gave me a special comment in the description for this one, saying thank you for the prior advice I've given and feedback and such. You're welcome. Also, you better have applied it, or I will find you again. So here we are listening to this one. Of course, I was already given the context by Silver, so I know what to expect with this one. I'm not going to be judging it on anything that's supposed to be there, you know? I'm not going to be like, ooh, you mean it's supposed to be glitchy? Sounds pretty basic. Like, I'm not going to be a fucking asshole. So we're just going to hear this one, see what it has going on, and of course, give my opinions as always. So without further ado, let's go! Hey, there I am, it's me! Not too shabby on the mix this time around. So this one, obviously, I know that this is supposed to be Megalovania, but it's always fun hearing the slight differences that people put into these variants they make. Sorry. There's the glitchiness. Good time for a halftime. Also good on the like dives you're doing, the pitch bends. Not bad. And again, the variety of the melody in here. I like that it has a lot more originality than some people do with their Megalovania remixes. Tend to be very bland, like not too much new going on. This has a lot of new parts to it. Which, again, I know that this is not like 100% original either, so that's a factor of this, but it's all in the approach. But I also haven't heard, like, the original variant of this that Silver worked off of. Obviously, as I'm listening to more, I'm picking out things. I will be nitpicking, but that is my thing to do. This is a fun way to do an outro. I like that. All right, so like I said, we'll be nitpicking, but that was definitely an improvement from the last one for sure. Okay, so not too shabby. There are a few things. Like I mentioned at the very beginning, the mixing seemed better immediately, which I like. Really nice on that one. Until the static stuff showed up. That was still very loud compared to the rest of the mix. So that's where the issues started to arise. Like basically once that first one happened, I was like, oh no, there's one, like then it kept happening. I wasn't sure if it was just going to be the one. I figured it would probably be consistent through any of those transitions. It's not that they're badly placed. They're fairly well placed in the song. I like how they lean into things like being a transition into the halftime. That works really well. But the samples for the scratches themselves, like that glitching, a little too loud, or the rest of the song needs to be brought up. That kind of comes down to a mastering pass more than a mix pass, but basically you gotta make sure that they're a lot more leveled. Because if you don't, then you have this moment, like what happened here, where that is severely loud. Like we're talking 5 to 10 decibels louder than the rest of the song, and it's just a very grating amount of difference. But like I said, those glitches are well placed. It's just the balancing of them that makes it feel a little bit weird, because like that lead, like the main Megalovania lead in here, it's also much louder than the rest of the stuff going on. So I think what needs to happen there is, because that is so loud, that's closer in volume to what the glitch part is, like those are really close to each other, but the rest of the song ends up becoming far too quiet as a result. Those need to be met in the middle, or you just need to raise the entirety of the like baseline of the song. That quieter part is like significantly less than the other aspects that are being added onto it. I'm not sure exactly which one you would prefer to do, making everything quieter or making everything in general louder and kind of limiting it into a center. I wouldn't say a limiter would be the answer to that, because it would keep the loudness roughly the same and only limit the loud parts, but just boosting the background, basically. The baseline of everything, all those like bottom line synths, the drums, all of that was just too quiet once the other aspects came in. When it did come in, the background being softer makes sense, that leave room for that louder synth, the main lead synth. But when you get rid of that main lead synth, you need to raise the rest of it back up to somewhere in between, because that's now the lead. Like when you get rid of that thing sitting on the top, you now have to create the room for that bass line to become the melody. Like most of that song is that lower sound. So it's like, okay, well now we're hearing this, and then whenever the glitches happen, we get that other instrument in there and that becomes the lead, but then the rest of it just feels underwhelming compared to it. So it's a matter of just finding those balances. And again, that can be just based on hardware. I think I mentioned this in the last video as well, where like it depends on what you're mixing. Are you mixing on a pair of cans like these that are designed to be flat and where I can really tell where all of those loud spiky bits are happening and where they shouldn't be happening? Or are you mixing on like a pair of budget AirPods, like something you got off Amazon that just aren't great, or actual AirPods even? Like those are okay, but they're still gonna miss a lot compared to something like these that are designed to be flat. All of that matters, and that variety matters. This leans back into the thing I'm pretty sure I've mentioned before, where when you mix something and master something, listen to it in every single scenario possible. Listen to it in a car, listen to it on random speakers around your house, whatever you've got, multiple different types of headphones, borrow some from your friends. Be careful to make sure that things aren't too loud on some platforms and too soft on another one. It also is just a matter of getting used to that, learning where these levels are. And even though I would usually recommend you mix with your ears, not your eyes, when it comes to stuff that different, that loud versus other parts of the song, you can see that in the waveform. You can 100% open it up and any player and see like these giant spikes. Like I'll put a screenshot up on here of what it looks like on DaVinci. You can definitely tell. I don't even know that it's there, but I trust that it is so well. I'm saying it now. And if there's something down here below, you can see that there's like a significant spike there. And it's like, you gotta get those under control. And that's where like limiting and doing like a generalized master pass might not do you any good, because it would just flatten all that to a consistent decibel level. but that wouldn't solve the problem of it being mixed properly. That's where you have to be careful about what sounds are coming through louder than the rest, and when those other things aren't there that are louder, boost up the rest of it a little bit. And there's a few ways to go about that, one of which being side chaining. And if you've probably heard me mention side chaining before, you know roughly what it is, but basically it would be taking the louder parts in this case and having the softer part duck underneath, but that would allow you to have that softer part louder at large because it would be making room whenever those like louder parts would be present. So it would still be in the mix, but it would be a lot more leveled out and you wouldn't have to worry so much about making room for them when the other parts shows up. It makes things a little bit more balanced across the board and more flat, so it just works better. But that's also one of many options. You could just straight up take the fader in whatever DAW you got and drag it down a little bit to quiet that, or raise it up for the background stuff to make that a little bit louder. The most simple answer would be that, but side chaining would probably help with the whole making room issue while the rest of it is too quiet. That way you could balance it out through the entire song without having to worry about raising the already loud parts or quieting the already soft parts. But aside from that, like I mentioned, good otherwise. I like the layout of the song. I think it works really well. I like the halftime stuff where it was, and just the structure of it, perfectly good. Just like last time, it wasn't shabby. It's not shabby this time either. It's just a matter of getting a hang of the mixing. And I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, kind of rolling off the top of my head here, Silver, I believe you use mobile FL Studio and that they had a bunch of updates that I think I saw you post about. I'm pretty sure, if not, it was somebody else, but I think that's what you use. Great. You know, like I'm sure they're going to have a lot of that be relevant to what I just said here. So utilize that, experiment, try things out. Like now with those updates to FL Studio Mobile, you could probably look up a lot more general how-tos and tutorials for the main release of FL Studio and actually apply a lot of what they're trying to say to what you have, because now a lot of those tools seem to be present from what I saw in that post. So there you go. Congratulations. You know, it's always great getting things with updates, right? So there's my general opinions on it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope anyone else who's watching here takes something away from it. If you're also working on becoming a producer, fantastic. We need more of them. We need more people making real music, for God's sake, please. Especially in our current time and age, we need artists out there actually putting in the work to learn these sorts of tiny little intricate, annoying, but extremely useful skill sets that, even despite what you may see with AI floating around, will always be relevant to the human ear. These are always things that you will need or want to learn if you're getting into making music, so please do them the OG way and make it sound as good as you can, even if it's annoying to get there. But I'll digress there. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to something else, by all means, drop in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if, like Silver did, you want to guarantee that I listen to something, you can always go to my Patreon and get the executive producer tier there. That will guarantee me listening to whatever you got. Doesn't matter who it's from, what it's from, if it's good or bad, doesn't matter. That's why it's a guarantee. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that. And I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!